So video is going to be about. It's a lot of stuff going on, people. A lot of stuff going on, and the enemy is looking for every reason they can to uh, attack primarily trans women, black trans women. There's a lot of good things going on too when it comes to uh, the community right now. But you have ones who was on edge looking for something to do. They needed somebody to attack, and I guess they feel like they got the ammunition, they got the okay to attack. Right. I'm dealing with talk about a little bit. It's going to be based off of the trans teen who was attacked in Georgia, right? Who was beat up on in Georgia, and very brave. It happened recently, and the case of a trans teen, I believe, a white trans teen in Virginia, who was found guilty for uh, sexually assaulting a 15-year-old in the bathroom, all right, restroom, which, like I said, one's their opponent, right? So, in the midst of it all, I just want ones to know who are trans, uh, primarily, trans men, trans, women, that the pain was not in vain, but it was to bring about change. As a song by an old school singer, Betty Wright had the song "No Pain, No Gain," right? So as Yeshua had to suffer for the world to be healed, and we know the Bible when we talk about the world, speaking of Israel, right, or Yashala, right? There had to be uh, opposition to the change. There had to be people who tried to find any reason they can to stone Yeshua just for being Yeshua, right? Yeshua was more of an outlaw, even though Yeshua is, the law, is the word, right? In the beginning was the word was, flesh, and flesh, so the beginning was the word was with God, the word was God, right? And the word came flesh, so John, 1 St. John, I'll tell you that. So, yeah, you're going to face opposition. If the world hated you, know that they hated me first. So, just seeing that how when Christ spoke on eunuchs, and we know today is eunuch is an umbrella term, primarily dealing with trans, but also gay males could fall into that too, as well as the term eunuchs. Was used as the spearhead to the movement, and so now we're at this ending of and beginning of an age, the ending of an age, where you have the old paradigm or old status quo, and you have the new or the different way of seeing things and being is coming into, and no matter what they do, trans people are the hottest topic. Trans men, trans women are the latest and hottest topic. Everybody want to talk about, but want to even attack trans people. I feel like they're being attacked, but still cannot get rid of trans people and primarily black trans women. The amount of trans women that have transitioned, if you're using that, transition for the past 5 years have been, it's like every so no matter what transition, persevering, still going to school, still going to work. Only thing I just advise is ones I think certain ones know to move differently, right? Me and my wife, understand that, right? Move differently. And I'm not gonna say every time a girl gets killed that it's strictly just of her being just primarily trans, but there's things that have happened that you have to move different because you're trans. You got to kind of watch, mind your surroundings, be careful, mind your surroundings, but also, yeah, just watch, just try not to do things when you're living a certain life where things can go left. And you're dealing with men uh, who have a certain mentality, excuse me, have a certain mentality, right? You have to be careful of that. and knowing that it doesn't take much. But anyway, not going to that too much. Uh, it's all time together. We're having right here a failure to kind of communicate. If you want to say it that way. We have Georgia. I'm gonna deal with Georgia first, and we're going to the team. I feel like the girl who got jumped on, if you haven't seen the video, is out there now. A black trans teen was being beat up, stomped on by two young males, right? In Georgia, I believe it's high school, and she's still around, she's still here. Hope she's okay. Praying for her. I just feel like that situation is too because the climate right now, and even though I said, hey, Dave Chappelle's show, that's his show, his stand up. I don't think it was his best stand up at all. I did finally see, I didn't see it time. So all right, but you got some people who I feel like they feel like Dave Chappelle is the last black super straight male hope. They just loved that Netflix show thing, right? And I still don't feel like it should be canceled, but also being responsible that you got people who feel like, hey, now it's go time, right? Dave Chappelle said what he said, it's go time. Green light, right? Right. And I feel like that's kind of what, not to blame Dave Chappelle, but I feel like that some of that is what's going on in Georgia in certain parts right now. Because everything was kind of pretty cool before he did his thing, his stand right? Man. And it's still, pretty good. But and it's not just Dave Chappelle. Like I said, it's ones who, like I said before, you got people who take these celebrities very seriously. They actually believe that these celebrities, or excuse me, these entertainers who happen to be celebrities, are really for a cause. Like seriously, they are for a cause. And I'm like the entertainers at the end of the day. They really, whatever they can say to make ends meet, that's what they're gonna say. All right, whatever side it is, whether it's the right, left, it doesn't really matter. Whatever they feel like they can lean towards to or be more, people can take them more seriously, they will lean more towards that for their source of laughter, cry, drama, whatever, right? Music, whatever, right? So whatever demographic they feel like they can touch. So they take it serious. It's almost become like almost a cult kind of thing. Uh, Dave Chappelle said, what is it? Dave Chappelle told no lies, in his live. I mean, his people make live saying that, right, on his show. And so then we have a part where it becomes very, it becomes very opportunistic. It becomes very tiring. It becomes very problematic. That's the word. Where you have people who actually believe that Dave Chappelle is anti-trans. Dave Chappelle can really not be that anti-trans. You know why? He can be, but he really can't catch me because most of the people that he look up to have relationships with trans women. Most of the pioneers that Dave Chappelle comes from, right, that he looks up to, have all been either accused of being with a trans person, as what we know today as a trans woman, or helped out trans women, right? Rudy Ray Moore helped out Lady Sir Joppa. See, do your history, do your story, learn more about these men and women were that you look up to and that you think that you don't look up to, right? You think they would never support somebody like a Lady Sir Joppa, right? Uh, to continue to do the things that she did. And they had a mindset of Lisa Java was a trans woman. At the time, I think they did what was called, I think, female impersonation. I think in California, certain places. I think it was the 1940s, 50s, I have it right. I know it was around that time. And it was illegal for her to perform in shows, all right? To wear attire that fits her, attire. But people like comedians like Rudy Ray Moore, I think it was Red Fox, Sammy Davis Jr., and they claimed that her and Sammy Davis Jr. could have had something going on, relationship. And it's one more other person that I believe that basically fought for her right to continue to perform the way that they saw her, right? And it's crazy that ones don't want to bring up that part of the men that you look up and say, hey, such and such was a real one, such and such was this. They were masking, right? They didn't play that, and yeah, they did play that. They did. Learn some more. Um, that I believe that could help. I believe Dave Chappelle bringing that up and not just bringing up the one white trans woman that he knew that liked his jokes or whatever like that, and it could really help out, right? To show that he has to really advocate for trans, not has to, but he should because one other person uh, God dang it, I'm getting his name. Oh shoot, Richard Pryor, Richard Pryor, Richard Pryor, Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? In his book, I think autobiography, talked about him being, I believe, it was with a white trans woman, have a relationship, sexual relationship with a white trans woman. So it's kind of funny, like I said, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Rudy Ray Moore, Sammy Davis Jr., they either helped out a trans woman, and in those cases with Sammy Davis Jr. and Red Fox and Rudy Ray Moore, and they said Rudy Ray Moore could have been, whatever himself, but was helping out a person from the community. But Richard Pryor was actually really helping out somebody of the community, right? Relations. So it's crazy that you can't really look at too many of these entertainers as the straightest of the straightest, or I mean, you would kind of have to because uh, if not, then hey, what would they be, right? Um, you can't, anyway. So Rudy Ray Moore, ones like that, Richard Pryor having a relationship. So Richard Pryor had basically had put the torch. I think had passed down the torch to Dave Chappelle. I believe when Dave Chappelle had ran to South Africa, right? I think when 60 Minutes had an interview with him, he was saying how Richard Pryor at the time, I think Richard Pryor was on his way out. He was about to, pass on to the other realm. But he said, all the comedy things he done, he felt like he could pass it down to, I'm paraphrasing, pass it down to Dave Chappelle, right? And Dave Chappelle accepted it. So I'm just like, well, he accepted that from a man who was one of the pioneers of the comedy that him, Eddie Murphy does, and others. If he could accept that from somebody like Richard Pryor, who was in a relationship with a trans woman, why can't you guys accept somebody like the likes of me, who could bring information, who deals with trans women? Uh, what's the angle? What's the problem? If one of your favorite rappers tries to pass down a baton or torch to somebody else when it comes to art, when it comes to science, when it comes to et cetera, right? That why you won't be able to accept it, okay? But any other time, it's a problem, right? I mean, it's always a problem. But when it comes to other people, it's okay. When it comes to other people, it's a problem. Uh, and so yeah, just dealing with that. Just looking at that. Like look at the people who paved the way for Dave Chappelle. They all have had close relations to a trans woman, whether it be a friendship or a relationship. So yeah, moving on, like I said, to that is that ironic. So Dave Chappelle is not could never really be anti really. I mean, because he would have to kind of take Richard Pryor off of this. So yeah, to get into with the like I say, sister that got beat up out there in Georgia. Keep your head up, and I feel like that's kind of where people feel like people always say, hey, people should come out. People should come out, live their truth, whatever. But when ones do, and I feel like the boys who jumped on her, they probably were either trying to hide that they had some kind of relation with her. One of them was probably trying to hide the fact, or it could have been due to where I'm about to go now. We're in Virginia with the bathroom case, right? Where you had, and somebody could have said something. They could have just said, "Hey, let's do it just because she might try to sexually assault somebody in the bathroom, right? We gotta protect cis women." So now going to Virginia, right? I was going to Virginia. Just found out about that. One of the super straight black men on here, because I'm straight, right? Super straight. Y'all super straight, right? Uh, Said that brought up the story. So you have a trans teen who found guilty recently, in, I believe, Virginia, for raping a 15-year-old in the bathroom. And like I say, that should never happen. And like I said, also the 15-year-old, to add on, said prior to that incident happening that her and the trans girl, the trans teen, had consensual relations in, I believe, in that same bathroom twice. So just putting that out there. But you know that happens. And so now now ones want to run with that from certain parts of the right. And it's crazy because I lean more to the right by default. Like I'm trans all day, but most of my ways of thinking, I guess you could say I'm on right. I don't consider myself left or right. I'm just me, right? But I am from the South. So, but I am trans attracted. I am for trans people having their rights, but I am also for order. But trans people have been using restroom for years. And not to make this about a black or white thing, but usually you'll find when it comes to black trans women, I don't think that would be such a big issue because black trans women and trans like men, you know what I'm saying? Really like men. Um, so people try to take that and try to see it's going around here, women go around here and rape women and rape girls and like that and try to this why you don't like I say it takes one case, and some might say or two for that person who wasn't even really trans, and that's another. Um, like I said, places like in Thailand they don't have this issue. Also, there was a white trans woman, I believe, who was attacked by I think two or three white trans women in the bathroom, sexually assaulted her. You got two white cis women who attacked a trans woman sexually. I believe in North Carolina, I believe bathroom at a bar somewhere. I think a couple of years ago, but they don't want to talk about that. So uh, whether you're trans, whether you're cis, you can be sexually assaulted. Two cis women could sexually assault a trans woman who's just going to the bathroom, minding her business. A trans teen could sexually assault a girls in the bathroom. Two cis girls, one of them could sexually assault each other. Okay. In Thailand, I mentioned Thailand and other places that trans people are not deemed as something new. And in this country, trans women and men are not nothing anything new. And most people, I guess, prior to now, really don't really know enough trans people for them to have be so heavily opinionated on, what happens and what could happen and what's this all about and what's the purpose of transitioning to come up with such a just like if a white person don't know enough black people, we're all thugs. Because all you know is the stories you read about the black community that makes the news, not the good stories, not the average everyday brother who doesn't have a record or might only have some little petty thing and did something for that or whatever. You don't know the average everyday brother. A lot of y'all don't know the average everyday trans brother or sister, but you're so the agenda and this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. Look what happened. Look here, and you're on edge. Looking for anything that can happen. If you're the ops, you're the ops. There's nothing I could we can do about that. We see right now. Either you're for or you're against. I would love for people to be more neutral, or and try so they can get understanding. But if not, I mean, at this point, I'm some people just made up their mind. They're not going to get the other side of anything when it comes to plus size women, when it comes to LGBT, when it comes to the Holy Spirit being feminine, when it comes to a polygyny, a man having more than one wife, and that being sanctioned by God, being holy by God. Whatever people don't want to realize, they don't want to accept whatever it is they don't want to accept. And it's the truth. They don't have to, but they will accept the truth, and one way or the other. And like I said, when our people, and I try to connect it to black people rise in this country, right? But we were deemed, not men. We were deemed as boys, 40, 50 something years old as boys, right? We were deemed people who are looked at as people who could never get respect, and we had to fight hard for it. We couldn't go certain places, eat at certain places, and people didn't really want to get to know us. They want to believe what they read in the papers, what they saw on the media, but not realize that black men are not going around here raping white women. That's why a lot of things was changed. The laws just now got changed, just became changed because black men were going around raping white women, getting high off of weed. So they had to legalize Mary Jane because Reefer Madness, one of the propaganda, I think articles and little, I guess sitcom little things they had back, I think it's the 30s or 1920s, was to keep was to make marijuana legal because that was the saying that was the main argument of that black men were getting going to the jazz joints and smoking a joint and raping white women, right? About raping white women. The whole even what's the movie? The first movie they got showed at White House, Birth of a Nation, the original one, the Ku Klux Klan. It was black men going around raping white women, so we got to have form this Ku Klux Klan thing because we're going to protect white women, right? We gotta make marijuana illegal because we gotta protect white women. And we gotta protect white people. That's why we gotta make guns either illegal or make the cost of guns to go raise higher and keep guns in the hands out of black people. So because we gotta protect white people. So uh, that's why we can't have all these guns because see we can't have black people have access to guns to see this rebellion. See we can't have black people out here getting high because there's this one black guy who raped a white woman who smoked a joint, whatever. So this is what they're doing, and I don't even know if that even really happened. But I mean, I don't think that never really happened. But you know, hey, that's why they burned down Rosewood. All it takes is a black man to bump into a white woman allegedly, and or whistle at a white woman, and everybody is dead. So, um, what I'm saying, like, what I want to say, just keep that same energy. People want to, the gays would woo, and people more focused on gays and trans attracted men and what they can do to justify their hate or their reason to disenfranchise or to attack or to get rid of or keep trans people away from certain things and actions in certain parts of society, which is going to be very difficult to do because, like I said, you really wouldn't know a trans person was there, all right, unless they told you, especially trans men. Trans men, you wouldn't even know they was there. And this is, somebody went from female to male, trans man, right? Somebody who looks like me or who look like Idris Elba, that's a trans man. A trans woman is, Sydney Star, somebody who like a Sydney Star, right? Okay. So, yeah, and yeah, Sydney Star, I might do a video on that, and there's McCray, you know what I'm saying? That's something in itself. But what was may say that all these things that is going through, people are doing this so because they feel like the old has to be maintained. And I agree that certain things never go out of style. Certain things never will go out of style. But there's certain things that probably should never really been in style or probably should change its style. Okay, a little bit of a whole lot. And this is not new. I tell people do your research. This is not nothing new. Trans people in this country. This is not go to Mexico. We can go right here. Native American, Two Spirit, even other places right here. Um, People who fought in the Civil War, trans men who fought in the Civil War. We could be here all day. Um, so, but you're persecuting the people who, for so long, even into the Bible, to the eunuchs of the Bible, to today, who fought so hard to make sure that people had their freedom or had their liberty, because freedom. We might not want to say that because you have free and Edom, free dumb Edom. So, but anyway, got the liberties and their justice. So, um, yeah, who also played a part in putting the family together, putting families and nations together, but deemed as the bad guys today. Because, like I say, there's anytime there's a new way or a different way of going into where we're going into, there's going to be opposition. There's going to be that. So I just want my peeps out there to know that it's not in vain. All the pain you're going through is not in vain. That one's experiencing is not in vain. and keep the fight alive is not over. Uh, like I say, every time there's an age, every 2,160 years, there's the beginning and end of a new age, and this is where we at right now. And this is why you're going through all the opposition and facing what you're facing and dealing with. So you know that you want it. Trans people want it. There's no way getting around it. Christianity was faced with big opposition, and look where we've been at for the past 2,000 years. You really can't find the Bible not really existing or being read in any country on the planet face of Earth. So trans people have been attacked for a good amount of years, right? Especially when European colonization came into power. I mean, came into play. And look where we're at right now. Okay, trans people are doing things from the White House to media everywhere, right? You can't really go nowhere without really seeing or knowing that a trans person is behind or is the powerhouse or has the keys to a business or to some type of music, a genre, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, or whatever at this point. And yeah, and like I say, everybody has their time. Everybody has their time. And now it's trans people time again, and y'all will live forever. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, the more they're persecuted, uh, and I had hear about the gay and even trans saints that were persecuted, right, during the Roman times. I'm going to talk about that, but sites like Gay Star News have that. Many Catholic and other Christian saints were either gay or trans who were persecuted for Yeshua's sake, right? Okay, and look what happened, right? Christianity went all over the world. So now, where we at right now, the time of the eunuchs, the persecution, trans people all over. It ain't stopping trans women from getting married, trans men from getting married. It's not stopping trans men from owning business and you know what I mean, and their co-workers loving them and getting along with them. It's not because, like I say, every trans person is not out to get nobody. Like I say, man, you feel me? You have people who, it's crazy because you have people who understand more about trans than they do about gay. They like, okay, I can see why this person was born like this, might be attracted to or might feel that okay because you're really a woman. That's why you like men, right? Because the balance. I do another video too about how in Native American culture, and I have the excerpt or the clip from the sister who was trans in Native American culture, who went into the history of the culture, saying that how the culture even then with two spirited was a heterosexual normative culture because you didn't see a two spirited person with you would see another two spirited person with another two spirited person if that two spirited person was a two spirited female to male or a male to female two spirited person. So basically, like I said, you would see a cis man with a cis woman, but you see a cis man with a trans woman, right? So you wouldn't see a trans woman with uh, a cis woman or a trans woman with a uh, another trans woman. It would still be you'll see a trans man with a trans woman or a trans woman with a cis man. You'll see a cis woman with a trans man, or you'll see a cis woman with a man. So it's still you see how to get the opposite of what who you identified as. No matter if you were cis or trans, you still have to deal with the opposite gender. I maybe I had to, but it was more looked at. It was more favored in that way in the culture even then. So, but yeah, that like I said, you learn something new. Anyway, learn something different. But I want to put that there, man. Hope y'all was edified. Like I say, had to get this off my chest right here. Hey, stop the hate, but I guess keep it going because that's ones get blessed. Bless are the beatitudes. Bless are they when they curse you and do this and stuff like that. Yours is the kingdom. So keep that in mind, all my brothers and sisters out there, the trans community. It's not in vain. The pain is not in vain. It's to bring about change. James B. Shalom. I'm out. Y'all be good. Bless.